You're listening to the BBM Global Network with 25 years in broadcast audio and video production. Our passionate team creates content and marketing for the world of Internet Talk Radio. If you've got a passion, come join us at bbmglobalnetwork.com. The BBM Global Network. Your voice is now heard.
Nancy Anger, who loves helping people break through to a fulfilling and well-lived life, is here with Light Up Your Life. Join Nancy, an intuitive guide and master energy healer, and her extraordinary expert guests for fresh new ideas and life-changing stories. So please welcome the host of Light Up Your Life, Nancy Anger.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Light Up Your Life. I'm your host, Nancy Anger, and we are live on the Bold Brave TV network. And I am so excited today to be talking to Pamela Strum. So Pamela is a visionary, and she utilizes her unique gift of working with sacred geometry to harness a quantum energetic alchemical process for her clients to live their life as a full expression of their human potential. In addition to that, in addition to her modalities, of which she has several, Pamela also works with plant medicine as a licensed herbalist and acupuncturist. So welcome, Pam, and it's great to have you on the show. So you have mentioned that you've been working as an energy conduit and healer for 3 decades and experiencing energy work with clients, even all over the world. So can you take us back a bit to how it all started for you?
Yes. Hello, Nancy. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me on. It was many, many years ago when I was having my own life health issues come up. And I was seeing various doctors who weren't able to help me. And as life would have it, I sort of tripped into a relationship as a massage therapist who was a Taoist practitioner. And from there, I asked, can I study with you? He was giving courses, and he was one of I was the 1980s, and he was sort of gifted a tradition from someone who was from Taiwan. And it became a passion. So it was one of those times in life, you go through life, you're following what, society says to do, and all of a sudden you come upon something and you light up. And so for me, this was the Taoist practices and the energy work. And it went from anywhere from meditations to learning how to do Tai Chi and Qi Kung to doing body work on people. And it really flowered from that point to meet someone who was willing to mentor me.
Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, my path started too, very much like with a physical issue that was going on, and it started with spiritual practice and the physical practice more of yoga. But so that's how it started. So then what came next for you? What was the next doorway that opened?
Well, I tried to toe the line and stay with having a certain type of job or doing what I was told would be the kind of thing that would help me support myself. But I always kept my a pulse on energy work. I loved it. And I would naturally seek out, helping people or telling people about things they could do to help themselves. And I decided to go back to school Originally, I wanted to be a naturopath, but it wasn't licensed in this country. And through a nurse recommendation, I started to look at acupuncture schools. That went right in line with doing the Taoist practices. And so I became an acupuncturist and an herbalist, but always inside of me was this calling that there's something more. It goes beyond. Acupuncture crosses into energy work. Of course it deals with the physical body, but really our healing and how our bodies operate are intimately tied to how we think, what we feel. And it seemed like I wanted to let loose on all the knowledge I had accumulated over decades, because I kept studying. And I decided, this is what I want to do. I wish to also help people as my way that I do my work. So I took it from there.
Yeah, so you took the herbalist course and the acupuncture, which you're still doing those things too as well, right?
Yes, I am licensed. It was a 4-year program, so I intensively studied. And but once again, always keeping up, going back to doing meditation, and then being fortunate enough once again to have someone enter my life where I was able to take all that I learned. I started to study with someone who was of Native American descent. And because what I learned is that there are times where you have maybe a lot of tools. I know you yourself, Nancy, there's so much that you do. So when someone comes to you as a client, what do you utilize? And really having a passion to sort of wake people up to the fact that there's so much more than what they're taught to be or than their physical presentation. So I wished to bring forward everything I had to offer, and I met someone once again who could help me do that and integrate and go deeper and deeper. So then the layers kept adding on, because in addition to the Taoism and the acupuncture and herbal medicine, and then all of a sudden I learned Native American practices, and I've studied with people. I would say, Nancy, I think while I'm on this planet in this lifetime, I will continue to absorb as much as I'm able and to do energy work throughout my life. So
yeah, that's amazing. So do you think some of these things might have been a little preordained when you came to the planet? I mean, you've connected with some amazing people and amazing practices. And the beautiful thing, I heard something the other day or read it, and it's about a gift isn't a gift until you share it with the world. And I'm feeling like emotions and tooth bumps as I'm saying that, because you share it so beautifully. You and we met through a class we were taking, I think it was 2017, in the DNA, or I don't even know if we took it together, but we were in the same group of the DNA restructure method, and that's where I first connected with you. And then we got to meet in person in 2018 for the Advanced Sacred Awakening in California. So I feel blessed that I've been in your energy physically, and that you've been in my life for several years. And you're such a bright light in the world. And I feel like you're just sharing and bringing through whatever, the things that you're learning. You're like excited about it. And so what we're going to go into a little bit today is we're going to start talking about the grid light healing and some of the other modalities. So can you share a little bit about some of these things that started coming through? I know you mentioned the acupuncture, and I know there's connection to meridians, et cetera. And so can you maybe just share a little about some of how the modalities started coming about that you started sharing or learning and teaching?
Absolutely. So there's we're energy. We're so much more than our body. And this, Nancy, and one of the blessings of what I do is that I get to meet people like you. And, I have such a strong connection to what you are offering here. So taking pieces of what we've learned and bringing it forward and tapping into it, sometimes it's as if there's awakenings within you and you hear something, and it could be something that someone said many, many years ago, and it doesn't make sense at the time, but it's something important for you. And all of a sudden the pieces come together. So really at the foundation of it all was to spend time meditating or in silence and allowing everything to come together. And what it turned into was a modality, the first one being grid light healing. And originally the name came through as golden ratio interdimensional light healing. And grid light healing is an acronym that stuck.
Okay, I love that. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about grid light healing, which is I've personally experienced, and it is amazing. So we'll be back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
And we're back. I'm your host, Nancy Anger. This is Light Up Your Life. We are live today on the Bold Brave TV network, as we are every Tuesday at 2 p.m. And I'm talking to the lovely Pamela Strum. And Pamela, we are talking about your grid light healing. And just before we went to break, you said something really important about how, like, some of these, there was a lot of things you said important that were very important, but one thing that really stood out was you talked about silence, like taking time for silence to kind of listen in. Can you expand a little bit more about that? Because that's such an important thing. And I think we are in a culture that it's very easy to get distracted by the external. Well, if I just go here and I go there and I do this thing and there's so much external. But it's like we all came here for a purpose, a reason, and I find it's like the more we actually turn inward, the more we can get information in the silence. So can you share more about that?
Yes, and thank you for highlighting that aspect of it, because we're wired in society to be constantly on the go or stimulated and busy. And I like when people say, well, we're human beings. So how about simply being? And how much do we spend time with ourselves, listening to our own inner voice, as opposed to giving that aspect of our way away and really tuning in all the time to outside of ourselves? So even for people who are not called to meditate, if you simply sit and focus on yourself, your breathing, if you go out into nature, authentic nature, and simply enjoy it and be in the moment, as opposed to do. I mean, really, a challenge in life is to be and stop doing, stop creating, and observe life and be the observer. And what you find as you go inside and you spend more time with yourself, your own answers to your authenticity start to emerge, and you start to listen to yourself, and inside of you, yourself, are the answers to what are my gifts? What's my purpose? What would best fulfill me in my life? And these are basic things that we often turn outside of ourselves, where it's really about listening to the inside. And from there, what we have to offer experience in our lives and what we have to offer the world is there, ready to flourish and come out. We're not here to play it small. We're all here to shine our own light. But what is that light even? And the way to get in touch with that is to go inside of yourself and spend time with yourself, simply observing, and you'll learn a lot. So I like to do it through meditating, but it can be other ways as well. Anything that puts you sort of in a zone and quiets your mind.
Yeah, I find it a lot, even with mundane things. Like I really listen to when I hear. So I think sometimes we tend to complicate things too. And it can be very simple. I might be sitting working at my desk and I feel this feeling to get up and go check the mail or the newspaper or whatever. And it's when I'm walking down there that suddenly an idea comes and I'm like, oh, and it's like learning to tune into those things, I think. And they can be so simple that I think sometimes people disregard, or worse, they bring them up to analyze. They take them from the heart up to the mind and they go, let me analyze this. And then it goes, so yeah. So
And how critical is that you just said to go to the heart? Because in everything I do and in talking to people, it's always coming into your heart. And otherwise, we're literally talking heads. So if you practice simply taking your thoughts and dropping into your heart. So it is a practice, because saying that, some people listening might, I don't even know what you're talking about, but really to come into your heart and tune into yourself, then you tune into your own inner universe. And possibly people here have seen the videos where they show your body getting smaller and smaller, all the way down into its cellular structure, all the way down into the nucleus, into the DNA, into the most basic structures of the DNA. And if you reverse that video and you expand outward into the universe and beyond, it looks the same. So as we are, so within, as is so without. It goes both ways. And the answers are going within, into your heart.
Yes, I love that, because the external is always a reflection of the internal.
Yes.
And if that's something that's new to somebody listening, they might have no idea. But if you think about it, if you're really angry and feeling, whatever, you kind of tend to attract more of that. But when you're in a good space, even if something comes, things just happen so much differently, I find. If people are new to the idea, it can be a little bit, I think, how does that work? But I love that and I remembered when we chatted a few weeks ago before the show, you were talking about everything you do starts with the heart. And so later on, we're going to do the heart smile meditation. And so do you have any, so I know when we learned that both together, the advanced sacred, the Akashic records, right? The Akashic records starts in the heart, right? Where considered the home of the soul. And so I love that we also both wore green today, the color of the heart chakra. So we're gonna dive into a little bit more now about the grid light healing. So when you created grid light healing, what was your intention? What is the intention behind it?
Yeah, the intention was this pondering of hearing that we are so much more than our physical being, that we are a soul having a human experience. And these sayings from life have stayed with me. And I find that as the layers have peeled away and I live my life and really love living my life, the answers drop in. So I ask things, well, why do we only use 10% of our brain? It doesn't make sense that we wouldn't use 90% of our brain. What is that? And if you start to seek answers and you stay in silence in your heart, the answers reveal themselves. So the irony in grid light healing and how it even dropped in and what I say revealed itself to me is early on, I set an intention, and this is something that came in. I didn't understand what it meant at the time, is that I am a clear conduit of healing energy because I believe everyone heals themselves. So what did that mean? I didn't know at the time, but it was really starting to anchor in the more and more I spent time doing energy work.
Beautiful. So we're going to take a short break and we're going to talk about more of what that means and how that translates for people when we come back.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. You know, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
And we are back. We're live on the Bold Brave TV network. This is Light Up Your Life, and I am Nancy Anger, and talking to the lovely Pamela Strum today about grid light healing and all the amazing things about really energy work. And so grid light healing, you were just sharing when we went to the break about really, I want to say, the birth of this, how this, because I feel like things come through us, you know, so how did this... So I'd love to have you tell us more about how this came through, your intention. You were sharing about your intention.
Yes. So there's a huge intention to allow people to inhabit the totality of who they are. You know, with these teaser images of us being way beyond our physical bodies, what does it mean that we have an etheric body, an astral body, and even in a Chinese medicine practice, there were these aspects of our, and much more inhabiting our energy bodies, and then having experiences doing practices such as Tai Chi, Qigong, and meditating. And I had this idea or concept to really have people know their greatness. Why do we not realize that we are these phenomenal energy beings? And we are. So what does that mean? I didn't even know that at the time, but really holding that notion that, okay, I'm a clear conduit of healing energy. What does that mean? So I was studying the energy practices, and I was spending my time meditating and doing all of the work. And I had my acupuncture practice and my herbal practice, and it all started to drop in as I started to study with key teachers, and the pieces came together, that tied back from years and years ago of things that really stood out. You know, sometimes you have those moments in your life where you know something's important, but at the time you don't necessarily know what it means. And that's what was happening. And it seemed to speed up as my intuition was blossoming and getting deeper and deeper and deeper as I was going deeper into the energy work. And it started to flood in, and I became aware that something big was coming through. And once again, wasn't sure what it looked like, wasn't sure what it meant, but I simply knew there, and I kept having dreams that I was having a baby. And so I said, well, I'm not physically going to have a baby, but I know I'm birthing something. Something's trying to come through me. And it turned out to be grid light healing. And once again, it started out as golden ratio because there was an enormous amount of energy, just like you might, your audience might be aware that we have energy available on the planet now. Science is even measuring it, that really has not been around in our recorded history. So people are feeling different. They're feeling their body shift. They have more awareness. They're waking up. And the crazy part, Nancy, was I had done a brief study of sacred geometry. Now, sacred geometry is the building blocks of the universe. And it sounds like, oh, sacred geometry. It's used in architecture. It's used in design. It's used very practically. So I'm not talking about anything that's too woo or out there. But I wasn't quite interested in studying sacred geometry because I didn't love geometry in school, how it was taught. And what I realized is when I was spending time meditating, I was already receiving sacred geometry. I didn't know what it was. So as I tuned into it and I saw images, I saw shapes. And I'm going to give you a really clear example that maybe everyone can relate to. So sacred geometry are sacred shapes that are the building blocks of everything in existence, our universe, us, and our third dimensional world. But in healing, they move. They're not static. So let me just show you something. I have a crystal with me. And here, can you see that, Nancy?
Yes.
I'm holding it up. Okay. It's a pyramid.
Yes.
And you probably studied in school triangles and pyramids and angles and their relation to each other. So But what was happening with energy and healing, what came through is the motion. So the forms are in motion. And what do those shapes do to the energy? And that's what landed. And once that came in and I started to play and have fun and follow my passion and say, well, if I'm going to take that shape, like a spiral, if I apply the spiral or the pyramid and I turn it this way, what happens to the energy? And it was there intuitively. Now, once again, I think that the answers were there, one, because we all have gifts that we're meant to share with each other, that are there for us to share with each other. And we're all like a little piece of the human puzzle or the universal puzzle. If you expand your awareness to that level, we all hold a piece to the puzzle that's unique. So we have a gift to share. Every one of us, regardless of your background or what you've done in life, we all have a piece to the puzzle. So this came through to me quite naturally. It was natural, and it came through to me in an understanding that maybe it was something I had been resisting because of how it had been presented to me. So I started to take these shapes energetically and apply it to healing. And what opened up and mushroomed at that point was realizing, oh my goodness, this is tapping into that other percentage of us. That's our energetic expression. And as we learn to inhabit our full potential and really live our lives to the fullness of our design from an energetic perspective, I keep saying we have superpowers. We're way, way beyond what we've been presented. Every single one of us is an amazing light energy being with superpowers. And so how to harness all of that and bring it down tangibly into your human experience so that you can live your life with an awareness and a sovereignty over yourself and your energy, and tap into that part of you that's unique and amazingly powerful.
Wow. That is just brilliant. I love that. And yeah, when I went to energy medicine school, they gave us like our superhero nickname. It was like becoming aware. But I think people are blocked and they don't realize it. So when we come back, we're gonna talk a little more about that, and a little later we're gonna do a heart smile meditation. So we'll be back.
The opiate epidemic has reached crisis levels, and with so many families affected by addiction, opiate-related drug overdoses, and death, the time is now to have a real constructive conversation about addiction that could lead to better prevention, treatment, and recovery. Alan Charles, author and keynote speaker on drug abuse and prevention, presents The Alan Charles Show. Alan brings a message of hope, sharing his unbelievable story of surviving a 24-year addiction to cocaine and highlights from his memoir, Walking Out the Other Side, an addict's journey from loneliness to life. His raw honesty and courageous heart breaks the stigma of addiction and offers a unique perspective into the mind of an addict. Join Alan each week as he brings his listeners to a true understanding of the grip of addiction. It is only with this understanding that we can begin to heal. The Alan Charles Show, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network. Have you ever felt like no one is listening, or you're not getting the honest attention you deserve? Do you even know the kind of attention you want or need? You are not alone. Alice Aspen March is here to help. Thanks to Alice, through her epiphany and research over the word attention, there are solutions to the attention dilemma. Worldwide audiences have been enthralled and engaged for over 40 years with her visionary and pioneering observations. The kind of attention we get and give is vital to improving our lives and society. Alice and her weekly guests review game-changing insights for transforming and improving our understanding of attention, providing techniques for creating healthier and empowering behavior. Get a new perspective on a mainstream word. Tune into Why Our Attention Matters for fresh and thought-provoking conversations every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on boldbravemedia.com and the TuneIn Radio app.
And we're back. I'm your host, Nancy Anger. This is Light Up Your Life, and we are live on the Bold Brave TV network. And we have Pamela Strum, tying my tongue today. Pamela, and you have an easy last name. We have Pamela Strum lighting up our life today. So we were talking, I just said before we went to the break, sometimes people sometimes people know that their energy is blocked or something is going on, but sometimes people don't realize until there's a shift. So people come to me for energy healing too, and they come because they know, but people can come in, and then, as you know too, with acupuncture and all the things you do, people can come in and feel a certain way. And then a little bit later, all of a sudden, they are like a new person because something cleared and shifted, whatever was blocking, even if they didn't know what it was. So can you share a little more about that for your...
Yes. So another one of those concepts that used to actually somewhat upset me was that we're made to live life, and life is blissful. And it's like, come on, life can be pretty tough at times. And what's happened as, going on, doing energy work and embracing these concepts of really inhabiting our expression of being more than our cellular human body, being able to tap into an energetic expression. You say, oh my goodness, there's no judgment. It's simply life. It's simply experience. And there's no good and bad. There's no such thing as duality. We create duality. Okay, Nancy, here we go. I'm going to go for it just to a certain degree. All right. So I can go pretty far out there. I'm really working to ground it right in and anchor it in. But we are aspects of source energy. We are source energy. And it's as if we've broken away from source energy, saying, let's play. Let me explore myself as if I'm a myself, as if I'm not ever connected to source. Well, we're always connected. And I think society's working its way back to realize we're all connected. However, in part of the playing, part of the incredible canvas of possibilities, there are infinite possibilities and potential. And if you are living your life feeling like you are less than, you're not enough, if you're in the denser emotions of anxiety, fear, depression, if you're constantly looking outside yourself, to others, to institutions, to governments to give you the answer of what's true and right for you, if you think anything that there's a negation to your incredible aspects as a human being in all of your glory, that's when there are blocks.
Yes. I think, yeah, but I think sometimes again that's when people don't know, because sometimes we're just taught to try to do what the right thing or things like that but I would say this a time more than ever, there's who do you follow, because there's so many different things out there that it's kind of like to me obvious, not to everyone, that it's like, oh, wait a minute, nobody else has the answer better than I do, better than you. For me, I have the answer for me, I don't have it for you.
Right.
And sometimes I might have to go inside more for that answer, but yeah, no, I love that. And I think more and more, I know personally more and more I'm understanding that about myself, but it's a step-by-step process, I think. And so your grid-like healing, because I've experienced it, helps unlock that. And so you have your toroidal grid there. Can you share a little bit about how that energy moves in us? And maybe that will,
Totally. This is where I get chills. But Nancy, I want to just answer one more thing about blocks and knowing yourself, is that following your joy. So follow life, what brings you joy in any given moment, because all that is the now moment. So in the now moment, it is step by step. You're absolutely smack on, because we've been socialized and trained and ingrained to turn outside ourselves. So it can take a while, if you're in a job you don't like, to change that around so that you are in a position that you love what you do. I know it certainly worked that way for me. And I have a daughter who's in high school, and she's already in the mindset, for getting into college. Like, but you don't like that subject. That doesn't make you happy. And it sounds crazy. It's like almost like anti-parenting in this society. I'm like, take the courses that bring you joy and happiness, and following that little crumb that life gives you. I promise you, the more you practice that, the better you'll get at living that way. And then your life will completely open up and explode with possibilities and potentials of showing you your joy and happiness. Because once again, you're taking what's inside of you and projecting it to the outside of you, which in this situation happens to be, isn't life fun and wonderful?
I love that. Yeah. And, and what you're bringing to mind too is life is always changing, and you can't make a decision now for what's going to happen somewhere down the road. And if anything, last year might have had given people a little clue of that one as well. But I mean, I grew a yoga and wellness center that I love, but at a certain point, it wasn't the thing for me anymore. It didn't bring me the same joy. It was time to pass it along. So we can have things that we love, and then suddenly, it's time for something else. So
yes. And it's not about bypassing, because remember, life is to live. So you experience all of the colors, all of the flavors, and it's when we get stuck, right? It's when we get stuck. So I'm going to show you something that came about. So I'm playing with sacred geometry. I'm doing the energy work. I'm excited. I'm really enjoying what I do, but not aware yet, knowing something's coming through, not knowing how to bring.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring my toy and introduce my toy.
Okay.
It's actually my son's toy. And this is a sacred geometrical structure. To me, it's like a toroidal grid. My son was playing with this one day. I'm trying to collapse it. My son was playing with it because it folds up, and he's rolling it up and down his arm. And I froze, and I said, stop, may I have that? Because this is what I kept seeing in my visions. It's as if we're in this space in between, and our energy, it's an infinite looping, no beginning, no end. So in our human design, our energy field is infinite. We are infinite. Our energy's never destroyed. And you might know that from science even says the same thing. Energy's not destroyed. Guess what? We're never destroyed. And I saw this sacred geometrical shape with humans and, human person in between. And Nancy, this is what blew my mind. If I flip this shape, this spiral formed another important sacred geometrical structure, the golden ratio. In math, you might have learned it as Fibonacci sequence, but this is a secret in channeling energy, bringing energy in and out of our structures. And we are massively connected, and it turns into a sphere, which is another expression of infinity with no beginning and no end.
I love that. Well, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to do the heart smile meditation, so people will really get a feel for things. All right, we'll be back.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
And we're back. We are live on the Bold Brave TV network. I'm Nancy Anger. This is Light Up Your Life, and we are talking to Pamela Strum about grid light healing and really maximizing human potential, our energy. And so you were just showing us the toroidal grid, and I know you showed us when I was taking the course, but it's like even now, just the way you're moving, it's like a magician, like the way you're showing, and that you saw it, like when you turned it like that, I get like total truth bumps. So
yes. So the golden ratio is important for how we bring energy into the correct proportion for our physical body and our energetic bodies. So when I was working with this toy gave a visual to people to even fathom what was being said, or when I would try to explain it. And yet at the same time, it helped me anchor in the healing, because this is as if these lines are in constant motion. They're energetic lines. And what started to happen when I worked with clients is that from doing the energy work and intuition, it was sensing where there was not flow of energy and where there was flow. So in working with this form predominantly in grid light healing, there's an aspect of using all the tools I've accumulated over decades and really helping to release the density. So what does that mean? It's like stuck water. In stagnant water, things die. Life does not live. Life is not sustainable. And it's the same with our energy structure. It's important to have movement and flow. That's important for your physical body as well, to keep motion in your body. And so it was beautiful, Nancy, because when you talked about people being stuck, I started to see it, in my inner eye. I'm working with people, intuitive healing, and I would sense and see where they were stuck. And then in creating light, bringing light into that space and being able to loosen it out, flow came in, and there's a natural healing. So sometimes something happens to the body and then it echoes out into our energetic expression. Sometimes it's energetic and we bring it in. And everyone's experienced this, even with their moods. You're in a bad mood and you don't feel as well inside of your body. You have more pain in your body. You feel great, you don't have as much pain in your body. But what's at the center of this our entire energetic structure, infinite structure, Nancy, is our unique heart pulsation, that aspect of us that is source energy. And there's our heart. And to me, it appears like a pulsation, which is our unique frequency as in our human expression of us as source beings. And so you had mentioned something we were going to do. And so I think that might be a good place to bring it in.
Yeah, the heart is amazing, and we could go into a whole topic about that. But so can you bring us into that heart smile meditation?
Yes. So going back and honoring my origins and what helped me so much, always, it's about coming into your heart space, speaking your truth and being authentic. And this is a little something to share as well. So just honoring yourself as a source being. Your heart is the perfect combination where there's non-duality. There's non-duality. There's no good or bad. There's no right or wrong. And with Chinese medicine, it's the perfect balance between the yin and the yang. So there's if you've seen that symbol with the squiggles, the white and black symbol, it's the perfect balance point, and that's our heart pulsation. So if we bring everything back into non-duality, it is the seat of respect and honor, and compassion, where this is where we view life. We look at life through our hearts. We think through our hearts. And that's where we come out with answers that are best for ourselves individually, but best for everyone else as well, with having the highest intentions. So if you take a moment, sometimes people do this most easily by closing their eyes and either sitting crisscross or putting your feet flat on the ground. This is a practice so simple and something that you can do every single day. And certainly if you're feeling upset or you're feeling out of sorts, just simply bring yourself and connect with Earth, because this is where your human body exists. Imagine yourself connected to Earth. And then as if you're bringing your awareness, calming your breath, slowing it down, calling back all aspects of yourself and your awareness. So if you're thinking about what you're doing next, what you're going to cook for dinner, bring it all in. Give yourself this now moment. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and now drop your awareness fully into your heart space. Dropping your awareness into your heart space as if you are looking at your heart or sensing your heart or feeling your heart. And the heart resides in the heart chakra. Sometimes people see of green or red. Sometimes people simply imagine or sense their heart. And as you spend time breathing with your heart, smile to your heart, giving so much thanks and so much gratitude that within you lies the key to your greatness right inside of you simply by paying attention and giving gratitude and saying thank you. And continue breathing. Maybe you notice that you're feeling some anxiety. Maybe you notice you're not breathing. Simply observe it, no judgment, no thoughts. Smile and gratitude and shine your light. Imagine your heart light shining out in all directions.
Beautiful. So we're going to take a short break so you can continue breathing and focusing on your heart. And when we come back, Pam's going to share like how to connect with her beautiful energy in other ways. So we'll be back.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical. What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
And we're back on the Bold Brave TV network. I'm Nancy Anger, your host on Light Up Your Life, talking to Pamela Strum about grid light healing and really maximizing your energy and human potential. And so, wow, that last meditation was beautiful, the heart smile meditation. And so, the heart is like, 40,000 neurons. It's just amazing. So we could dive in, but I won't dive in because we don't have enough time to dive in. Maybe we'll have to do a whole nother show on the heart. But so tell me, how can people find out more about grid light healing and where can people find you to connect with you?
So you can connect with me different places. One place, if you would like to find out about grid light healing, my other modality, light years, or other ways you can work with me, you can find me on my website at PrincetonHealingHouse.com. And you can also look me up. I'm sure you can Google me and I'll pop up, but PrincetonHealingHouse.com, and look under my services, and you'll see not only the write-up of what it's entailed in those healings, but you can go to the testimonial section and see testimonials for those modalities along with acupuncture. And if you're wondering how, you sense you'd like to work with me, and you can also reach out to me through email, which you can find on my website, and we can have a discovery call together. But I'm on Facebook. My business page is Princeton Healing House, and I'm on YouTube. So if you would like to have the full Taoist meditation of the smiling at your heart. It actually goes around to the consciousness and the spirit of different organs in the body. It's an ancient meditation used by Taoist monks. You can find the inner smile meditation by looking up Pamela Strum on YouTube. And then also I'm on Instagram. So Pamela_Strum. It's a public account, and you can lots of free ways to see what I do and experience. Lots of giveaways in addition to working with me, more in depth and extensively. And I just ran for your group now. I just ran a Cyber Monday, Black Friday special. If anyone emails me from this group, I will offer you $50 off working with me in the Akashic Records and extend if they say your name, having seen me do this show.
Oh,
and
that's
I'll
pretty
offer
awesome.
that to the new year, through the end of this year, 2021.
Yeah, so the end of December 31st, 2020. That is amazing. And I know you did some, besides what the Akashic Records work we did in California together, when I did your grid light healing, your Akashic Records work, and it's just beautiful. Like I can feel your beautiful like heart energy, that love. And for people, like when we are in the vibration of people that, there's like an upliftment, when you're in the vibration of someone whose energy is uplifted. So there is a secret, people. Find people that are uplifted and bright and, in their heart. And so thank you so much for joining us today. And if people are looking for the replay, one of the places that you can easily find it is at my website, which is nancyanger.com, ANGER. Sounds like anger, but it's not. Under about and featured in, and you'll find the replay links there. So thanks, Pamela.
Thank you, Nancy, so much. I'm so grateful, and thank you to all of you who've tuned in.
This has been Light Up Your Life with your host, Nancy Anger. Why settle for less when you can stack the deck for more fun and better results? So tune in each week for a dose of inspiration and living your life to the fullest right here on Nancy Anger's Light Up Your Life.
You've been listening to the BBM Global Network. The ideas, views, and opinions of this broadcast are those of the participants of the program and are not necessarily the ideas, views, and opinions of the BBM Global Network Company.